This is Amária Sweet with HeartMind Expressions. And today I'm with my good friend Chastity. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Amária. I'm so excited that we're doing this together today. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. You've got some beautiful gifts that a lot of them we share. So it's fun to meet a soul sister and get to know you. Just to let the audience know here, she's a licensed massage therapist, Reiki master, and teacher. And one thing I love about the type of Reiki that she does as well is it's multidimensional, which means she can bilocate, energetically be two places at once, and does etheric type surgery. Some people call it psychic surgery, able to remove those attachments and different things that are just yucky. And she goes really deep. This girl has worked on me and has removed things that were hidden from me. So she's amazing. I totally would recommend her. She also follows Lisa Renee's Hieros Gamos. Am I saying it
I
correctly?
would say Hieros Gamos. Yeah, I think people
Hieros
pronounce it
Gamos.
different, so it's perfect.
Perfect. And so this system, it's kind of like an avatar of Ascension system that she follows. It's got a really interesting language behind it. I'm really fascinated by it. I've got another friend that kind of showed me it. And so I've been in the community for a couple months, and that's also an awesome program. Any of you spiritual people out there looking for something in the Christos or Christ consciousness ascension, it's really the place to be for spiritual community. To start off, I'm excited about your book.
Thank
This
you.
girl is the number one Amazon bookseller in energy healing. There's a couple other places. Really exciting. So I want to start with that, with your book. Do you want to explain a little bit what you talk about in that book?
Yeah, it's a collaborative book. So there were 18 visionaries, and we all came together and told kind of our own stories about different healing modalities or different perspectives of what the energy world looks like, and what each of our how we've each stepped into who we are as human beings, right? So my chapter specifically, um, it's fascinating to me because I rewrote my chapter so many times. I thought, oh my gosh, am I going to talk about psyop? Am I going to talk about, and I wrote it and rewrote it and wrote it and rewrote it, and I said, bag it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call in the guides, and I'm going to treat it as if I am talking to them, and kind of doing a session on myself. So it's really I mean, I guess you could call it as a channeled piece, right? So it's
Awesome.
like about me asking, things from childhood, and we kind of really talk about fear and ego a little bit, like how that overcomes. What I find most fascinating about it is the energy signature behind the language that they use, and that works through me, right? Um, I think that it will register with everybody different. And so I think that that's really unique about the type of writing that I've chosen to embody, right? So I almost gave up on the project too. I was going to be out. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. Right? There
Uh-huh.
was so
Easy
much
to do,
interference. Yeah,
right?
but I stuck it out, and yeah, we just went live yesterday, and number one bestseller, and that's really the best thing that all of us could hope for, right? So I
Well,
feel really blessed to be on the pages with all of these visionaries. So thank you for bringing that up.
you're welcome. It's really an honor to be getting to know you just because the spirit that you have, you are very intuitive. One thing that I notice, I love the spirit, like I said, that you have, that you carry, your presence,
Mhm.
very feminine, very calm, very centered, very strong, and so beautiful. When we go into our past, especially in our childhood traumas and go into fear, it's something that we talk about and that I've talked about a lot on the show here. And the listeners, of course, that have reached out. about different questions and about, what can I do to overcome different fear, maybe some traumas, PTSD. What kind of things do you usually suggest in your practice to help people maybe overcome those things?
Mm. Thank you for asking that question. I think that with each person, it takes, I think it's a little bit different for everybody, because we're in different, we're holding different levels of fear. And so for someone, it's going to be really easy to say what I'm going to say, to do what I'm going to say next. And that's really looking at your fear. Let's say, uh, let's say you have a fear of heights, and it's really about bringing it to the surface. The guides are telling me that's really not a very good example, so I'm going to kind of move away from that. But it's about seeing your fear. So fear of loss, fear of grief, fear of not being becoming what you wanted to be, and then we get into stuff like lack, poverty consciousness, those kinds of things. Those are all real uh, deep down fears, right? Fear of never being loved. And so, bringing that fear up to the surface and um, witnessing it, really allow it to just play out. So you can do this in a light meditation. You could do it by writing it down and observing it that way, or in the moment that it happens, which is a little more advanced when you can do this in the moment, is as that fear comes up and arises, right? Instead of react to it, take a deep breath, watch what's happening, observe how your body feels. And because our fears are visceral, right? So it really attacks the physical as well
Really,
as, yeah, as well as the emotional and mental. And so then we get into these mental loops. And so really watching it, stopping the mental looping, remove the emotional aspect to it, and then witness what's happening. And so that's by removing as much emotional as possible, right? And it doesn't mean you can't have emotion, and it doesn't mean you're detached from the situation, but it's really about how is it serving you? How is this emotion serving me? How is this fear serving me? And know that fear is not organic to humans. So it's not an emotion that belongs to us. It's been uh, forced upon us, and we're living in reversal systems, right?
right.
For many, many thousands of years, as you know, right? So
Oh,
it's uh,
goodness.
it's about understanding that it's not ours, and so we get to give that back and find the root of it, right? And that could be, if we've missed things out here in the etheric world, then and we're not taking care of ourselves spiritually, what happens, and this is what I've discovered as a massage therapist, what happens is it comes down and hits the body physically. And then so we have back pain, we have headaches, we have all these other things that happen. I remember when I first started massaging when I was in school, the first time I laid my hands on someone, I was like, oh my God, what was that? Right? Uh,
That's
I,
awesome.
I was like, oh my gosh. And, I had always known where somebody had been hurting, like their physical body. I always knew where they were hurting. I'm like, oh, that person's back hurts, or, that was just my life. I thought everybody could do that, or, notice those things. And I mean, they can't, and not everybody does. It's not everyone's, specialty. Um, but then when I finally started really training in that and understanding physiology and, the skeletal anatomy and all that stuff, and understanding that, oh my gosh, those emotions, those memories are in the tissue, right?
Really is.
And so it was just crazy. And so, talking someone through that as the tissue unwinds, emotions unwind. So you have people break down on the table all the time crying, right? That kind of stuff. And it's, okay, let's talk through this. Let's breathe through this, right? And pain, physical pain is just a cover up for what's happening in your emotional realm, right?
That's really awesome. And with
Yeah.
your massage that you do you ever use any like cranial osteopathy type
Mm.
procedure at all?
When I'm guided to, I'm not trained, but I do some of that work.
Kind of a
Um,
similar.
yeah, so I just kind of do what the guides tell me to do, what they show me to do. So I go and I'm actually able to. I work with frequency. I've worked with frequency lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and so I can change that with breath, with intention, and so sometimes, I know some of my clients will just think that I'm crazy when we're doing in session work, like hands-on in session work, because all of a sudden I'll be like breathing or like, my hands will be moving or something, and stuff like that. And I actually have this one gal, she's just amazing. She says, could you just do your like crazy weird stuff and don't tell me like anything about it? Just fix it,
Oh, I
right?
love it. Nice. Well, and it really
Yeah.
shows that what you do has an impact on people. Just and experiencing and listening to like your tones or your drumming and the breath work that you've done. It's beautiful because for myself, I've been able to actually see the energies that you're doing
Oh,
on
wow.
the astral. And so the experience I had, you had like all these colors coming out of you. It was almost like this flow, kind of like water at times.
Mm,
Sometimes it was like metal, sometimes it was like crystal energy or
mm,
even fire. It was amazing how the elements were coming and you were able to tap into each one of those depending on what you were doing. So just to let the audience know, this stuff's real. She's making these sounds or she's doing tones or whatever she's doing really does something. It's not
yeah.
just woo woo. Some of us can see it, and this girl's for real.
Thank you
So,
for saying that. I love the elementals. It's taken me time to really step in and understand like who I am, right? And it was kind of like I've been teaching for nearly 3 years now, teaching people how to remember who they are and how to overcome their fears. And, my guides are like, let's step it up, girl. Like, you have some things to
yeah,
remember too, right? So,
girl, you do. And you have definitely got a gift. It's very beautiful. Really
yeah.
beautiful. So, the Reiki side of it, energetic side of it. Now, do you do more like hands-on with people, or are you branching out more now kind of to the world on that psionic bilocation level?
Yeah, I'm more on the psionic bilocation level. My physical studio is currently closed down, and that's because of all the stuff that's going on, right? So
Eh,
better to be uh, safe than sorry, right? And not rocking the boat or whatever. uh, and so uh, I've been transferring everything over to online and yeah, bilocating, which has been really fun. In terms of uh, in terms of Reiki, it's really interesting because that's how I started really moving into um, energy, frequency, and kind of, what I call it, and I think lots of people call it this, but like dark arts training, right? Like you have to play in the astral to be able to go and play with the big boys, right? And
eh,
and like Reiki, I think is like kind of, it's a well-known term, right? But I think it's been co-opted. So um, and infiltrate, like I think it's been infiltrated, and that doesn't say, I'm not saying this is just only from my lensing, right? So I don't have any judgment or opinion for what other people do or whatnot. But for me, it was really about learning how to play in the really understand what the astral realm looks like, right? Like that fourth dimension, and
Right.
and really understand it and know that that's the frequency of all of humanity, right? So it's the consciousness of, it's the collective consciousness of all of humanity's dreams, which could be absolutely overflowing and beautiful and colorful and fantastic, but all of their fears as well, which is
Right.
completely down into the sewer and
Mm-hmm.
and worse, right? Um, so yeah, it's kind of where what is that? They're saying Gehenna, right? So I think that's a term used in the Bible, and that's like where all the trash heap goes, right? So
Right. Right.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people that may be new to this type of spirituality practice don't realize that, we have to be able to traverse hell and heaven, that
yeah,
those light and dark areas without that fear. And that's one thing that I do notice that you do
yeah.
beautifully and very gracefully,
Mhm.
fearlessly and with passion. I love it. It's very beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's one thing I have definitely standing and facing my fears, right? I have, I'm but it's like I came in like this. Like I feel really lucky because I came in partially awake. And so and by partially awake, I'm meaning I've always been able to read energy signatures. I know when somebody, not always in my personal life, right? I think that we get blindsided for various reasons, but but I think that's fair to say, right? We all have had
It's
uh,
human nature. We have our flaws, weaknesses.
so but I can almost, spot on say everything for, everybody else. But like movies, this is so crazy. You watch a movie and it's like, okay, hold on, that's like real, you guys. Like they're actually like giving us information. And I know this sounds absolutely absurd, but that movie is actually giving you bits of information about something that's for real happening on this planet. Right? And I
Right.
would say stuff like that, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, have you gone mad?" And I'm like, "Maybe," but it's been like that my whole life, right? So,
Well, and I notice with those of us that are indigos, we tend to do that. There's an element of awakeness when we come into this earth, and I think that's why a lot of indigos have had so many struggles and have been hit so hard by the dark side, because that realization of, oh crap, they're here. And, we're the warriors that are kicking
yeah,
that ass on the astral
yeah.
realm, as well as bringing that to the physical. So definitely, girl, you got that armor on.
Thanks, thanks. I
You're
love
what?
that you use the word indigo. I have because I've been like this, right? I didn't have language for what I am, or I didn't pick up a lot of books, and I didn't do I don't know a lot of the terminologies, right? I just do what
Right.
I do and know what I know. And so uh the closest I ever got to understanding any language was and I'm sure everybody knows who this is, Sylvia Brown,
Nice.
the psychic Sylvia Brown. And so um like even my mom took me to see her one time, and so I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, this is so cool, right? And
It
it was
is.
it was the coolest thing, because we were in a small hotel space. And so I don't know, there were two sides of, with an aisle in between us, and not a whole bunch of people. I mean, not 20, but I mean, maybe 100 people. I don't know, but it was very intimate. And she took us through a meditation to meet our spirit guides, right?
So cool.
And I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. And forever, I used to take my own clients through that same way, when I was teaching, because I used to teach Reiki certification when I was, playing in those realms. And so, when I wrote my manuals and and started teaching people how to meet their guides, like, that's what I used that exact same way because it was so powerful for me, right? And yeah, you think back when nothing was online, you think back to these people like Sylvia Brown and I don't even know any other names, but
Yeah.
just like how hard they had to work, right? Because
Yeah.
we've been working uh, probably online since 2007, right? And think of
Mhm.
how prior to that, when nobody had access, when mother wasn't here, like our true mother, and we were still working off the dark mother and all the moon reversals and stuff. And oh, I can't even imagine. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we have it easy, right?
Uh, we really have been blessed with just how everything has been updated and continuing to have the technology
Oh
that's
yeah.
coming out. I mean, it's going to explode very soon. A lot of people don't realize, but I'm really excited. Even though, yeah, 2020 has the poop bin,
Mm-hmm.
really, it's
Yeah.
been one of the greatest years in our human history because of where
Yeah.
we are in defeating the dark side and
Yeah.
defeating the enemy or that imbalance in the universe. And
Mm.
we're here, we're doing our path, we're doing the work to be able to lift up Mama Gaia and those beautiful humans that are all around us that are needing that support for ascension.
Yeah. Yeah. We're breaking down their reversal systems, and
Yes.
they're because it's the end of the cycle, right? And because the earth cycle is ending, I don't know what that is, like 26,000 plus years, give or take, whatever, right? And the earth is like moving into new territory, right? There's no choice but to wake up and ascend. And because there are so many of us, they're really losing their footing, right? And
Mhm.
it's like the ground is literally crumbling beneath their feet.
Really
And
is.
they don't have us to, there's too many at this point awake. So
Right.
they can't control us and take it anymore. And that's why 2020 is such a shit show, honestly,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They're
Well, and
pissed.
they are. And the 144,000 that's been spoken about, I really think, and I agree with some other people that have talked about it, I don't think it's just like, the twin flame groups or the twin soul groups or the contracted soul groups. I think it's clusters of us, indigos,
Yes.
crystals, rainbows,
Yes.
all of the warriors that have come in, depending
Hmm.
on, what is that warrior side that you're doing. But we all combine together with that higher energy, that higher value, and that deep heart
Yeah.
love, that higher fourth density to help with the 3D coming into the 4D on those that are ascending from that 3D to 4D and those that are ascending
Yeah.
from 4D to 5D. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
And higher than that, right?
Right.
Because there's way, way higher than that, right? That's when you start really, really comprehending not just how to control your reality, but really how to control, understand and see the matrix, right?
Uh,
Really, really get it. And that's when stuff gets serious, right? So,
it
but
really
yeah.
does.
But and that's understanding how to use the energy frequencies appropriately, within universal laws, and asking permission for things, understanding when you understand the matrix and you understand how to go to and from these different dimensional aspects of reality, to close doors when you come back, right?
Something we all are learning.
Close the door. Yeah, because
Don't let the
that's
flies in.
exactly so perfect, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember where I was going to go with that, but I don't know.
Well,
I
cool.
thought I was on a roll for a second.
Right. No, it really does make a sense where you've talked about even in your sessions closing those doors or those gates
Hmm.
or whatever, keeping that
Hmm.
evil from coming back through or something that we
Hmm.
don't want to come and
Right.
penetrate where we are because so much of that has happened with people misusing, whether ignorantly or on purpose, those energies. And we've all done it. I know I've done it in the past and I'm
Yeah,
learning
same.
and
And
it's learning, really.
yeah, well, and I remember what I was going to say. It's about the 144. So maybe remind me
Yeah.
if I go off on another tangent, right? So my mind goes kind of fast,
That
um,
girl.
but hold on. I'm just like I'm processing what we were saying. I'm going to go back to the 144 for a second because they're showing me something. So like 100 and I like how you say in different places. And so what I picture is like 144,000, right? Or groups, right? One like
Right.
and within that group is so many, right? And so it's
Very true.
and what I don't know anything about numbers, but I do know that those it's like tied into 144 strands of DNA, right? And so within
I'm
so
no, I really
so
am. It's like lighting up that Kundalini girl.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. So 144 strands of DNA. Wow. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, and I don't know that everybody has like that comes online for everybody, and or maybe it does, right? And it's in different aspects or in different dimensional realities, right? I just did a bunch of DNA work yesterday. I had like an amazing session, and so you know, plugging in and getting key codes and calling back fire letters and opening up and making sure my strands are running efficiently and effectively um, that's part of what I do to help people's DNA strands. You got to start setting um, holding space for your strands to activate, right?
Right.
So and the first way uh, to get out of just working with the 2 DNA strand and getting into your junk DNA, right? Is by no one needs that. Is by clearing that fear. Clear
Yes.
the fear. Look at all of it. And it's a process. It takes time and it takes dedication, right? Being dedicated. But once you understand how to do it and once you understand um, uh, how important it is and how to set intentions for that, right? You can do sleep time healing. You can see different people that can help facilitate. It's always better if you can do your own healing. I tell people that all the time. I love that you come and see me. I think that's beautiful. I think it's so fantastic, but you have to learn how to do it, right?
Right?
It's
Yes. Teach a man how to fish, not just give him the fish. So that's
yeah,
perfect.
it's so
Perfect.
important. It's so important. Um, and but we get stuck from time to time and we need facilitation and I completely understand that we all get stuck and we need help or somebody to sometimes it just takes the tiniest little thing to shift and
It really
yeah I had this I'm just going to talk about this. I don't know if people understand like how far um like fears and projections go, right? Like one of the things that we hold in our energy body or in our energy field are projections or thought forms, you call them whatever you want, right? From other people.
true.
And so one of the things that came up for me was this, uh, discovering I had facilitation for this because I was just really trying to reconnect some things. And there was a projection that was coming up, and it was from a girl, and the girl was younger than me and was no longer alive. And so then all these questions have to come up, and it's like, okay, a girl younger than me. So you think, okay, someone younger than me in my life right now that passed away, I don't know anybody. Well, that's not how it works. Like, I really had to go inside and think. And I can tell you, I don't know a time. I've never lived in a house that's not haunted. Just for starters, right?
Look
And
at that.
I'm like, are they following me or can I just see them all
Ah,
the time? Like, what's going on, right? So
yup.
I thought, oh my gosh, I have no idea. So then the person helping me said, okay, it is from when you were under 5 years old. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So I'm going to go, and it's younger than me, someone younger than me that died, and I was 5. I thought, oh dear, how am I going to? So I really just had to pull myself together and center myself. It was the child, the ghost child that lived in my home that would appear
Wow.
with its mother, that I recall interacting with.
Wow.
Especially once it was brought to my attention. And there were projections of jealousy. And, I was alive, right? I still had opportunity. I still had these things. And so these projections went and carried with me all of my life. And
Right.
so, understanding that even though we can't see what's happening, and and we're not protected, that's another one of the things is like I'm so adamant about. You have to understand how your multidimensional body works. You have to understand that you're a multi. I say have to because I think it's so important. You can do whatever you want, but I say have to because I think it's so important to understand that you are a multidimensional electromagnetic being, which means your
Absolutely.
body is so, I mean, there are so many aspects of self. I mean, as it stands, like I can speak for myself, I stream, up to 15D, right? So just, here, right? And
Right.
so, and within each of those dimensions, um, and understand that that's actually a reality. And on all these different levels, it doesn't matter if you can see the little ghost girl, right? They
Exactly.
can see you. They
Oh,
understand how you work. The cabal understands how you work. They
yeah.
understand how to, to use our beautiful earth's ley lines and put in those reversal programs and hook right into our energy body and feed off of us, right? And
They
it's
do.
disgusting and it's terrible. But if you don't, it doesn't know if you do, it doesn't matter if you don't know it. It's happening, right?
Mm.
So, and that's just like the ascension. It doesn't matter if you're not participating in it actively, you're participating in it whether you want to or
Right.
not. You don't have a choice,
Yeah.
right? So,
That's right.
yeah, so people don't understand, like what's happening to them or why their world is falling apart. When the planet is going through a dark night of the soul, probably you're going to too, right? So, yeah. See, I go off on
That's beautiful.
tangents.
Oh, that's beautiful because hearing it in a similar yet also different perspective, I think
Yeah,
it's really good, for the audience that's listening too, because a lot of people are waking up to these ideas, which they're not new, but it's kind of that refresher course to our souls because we have been zapped asleep when we're born into this planet. That's been a
right.
prison planet for thousands of years.
Yeah,
And it's our job, those of us that are indigos, to come in as these light warriors to help wake people up and work on
yeah.
those grid lines. And do you also do a lot of the grid work as well?
So I've done some grid work. The most I probably do more in my sleep. I have been one of the things I've been working on is dream. I don't know, is the word reconnaissance or just remembering? Like, just I'm really trying to remember my dreams
Right.
more actively, right? Because
Like
I
the
get
lucid dreaming.
mind I get mind slighted, and
Uh,
so before I and it was for good reason as far as the NAA is concerned, right? Negative alien, the ones in the negative alien agenda. So, they don't want me to remember certain things, because I bring back information into the now self, which is what we need. That's what the ascension is, right? It's bringing our higher selves down. So it's like a descension, right? But it's an ascension in consciousness. And so we need to embody it in our physical being, and so you bring things over. But the last bit the last bit of work that I did, well, I do grid work often if it comes up in session work. Like they'll ask me to attach the particular session to like the Great White Lion grid or the Golden Eagle grid, stuff like that. And for those listeners who don't know what that is, you can go to ascensionglossary.com. And that's actually something that a woman, Lisa Renee, it's kind of her baby pet project. And it's absolutely, I just think it's absolutely stunning and fascinating because it's one of those things that comes up. The guides will say something to me and I'll go, I don't know. This sounds crazy, or this must not be a real thing. And I'll put it in the Ascension glossary and I'll be like, well, I'll be damned. Look, it's freaking real.
I love it.
And it makes sense too in real time. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I saw. Or wow, that's so crazy, right? So in session work, oftentimes I'm already doing grid work, which means that the healing that's happening through the person's body is also healing the planet, which we do anyway, right? We're a microcosm of the macrocosm. So, just healing in that aspect. But a lot of the work we were doing, we're in the Baphomet fields. And so working with, this might make me cry, with the SRA children and a lot of their souls, pulling souls out really is what it is. Obviously, I'm not pulling out live bodies, but really pulling out those little souls. Yeah, it was really tough. I remember one in particular. I actually remembered my dream, and this is so. I'll share it because it's so important to understand, and I'm not going to share in detail, but I had gone into a space guised, right? You don't want to just walk down there as a light warrior, right? So,
put your
so
armor on and your disguise on.
mm-hmm. And you're really sneaking these souls out, right? And so bringing them up out from where they are, and actually I actually carried them in my womb. I had two, we had others coming with us, and I finally found my way out of this place. But it wasn't without traumatic physical assault in the astral realm in the Baphomet fields. And I remembered it, and I was very uncomfortable the next morning that I woke up. And all I could think when I woke up was like, oh my gosh, are the kids still in me? And so it's literally felt like a pregnancy. And many, many people on these projects felt pregnant, bloated bellies, swollen breasts, men included. Um, and we've been rescuing souls out, right? So this is
That's amazing how parallel your work is to so many people I've talked to, including my own experiences on the astral with that grid work. So it really brings to light the importance of the work we're doing.
I know, it really does. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
It's the beauty of that healing process for Mama Gaia and for humanity is really what it's about.
Yeah.
It really is what it's about.
Yeah. It's about taking our people back. It's about getting our babies back. It's about saving humanity. It's about saving those children, and it's about taking back what's rightfully ours. The fact that mother is home is just like, I know it was really hard for me to dismantle what the moon is and what the moon represents, because so many of us, especially so many of us females, having that connection to the moon, and feeling that our menses is connected and it's powerful and beautiful, and it's like, no, that's blood sacrifice, right? you know um, uh, and there are still today, excuse me, a running frequency.
Right. It happens, girl.
um,
It happens.
there are so many well meaning um, healers, I don't know what word you want to use, right? Energy people, spiritual leaders, right? That are still suggesting that we collect our blood and pour it on the plants, for and it just cringes me every time.
Yeah,
And
that's too. Uh,
it's like it's yeah, it's understanding that our goddesses, that our moon, that our mother, they're all fakes, they're all phonies. And understanding that, really getting in touch with Sophia, really, setting those intentions clear, and you will feel the difference.
right.
Unsync your menses from the moon. Do not honor. I know there, and I haven't found this place yet. I'm still a little bit pissed off, right? That, so I haven't even been able to go in and say, "Oh wow, what a beautiful moon," right? Like the people people will say, "Oh my gosh, did you see the moon?" I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it. And I just want you to know the moon doesn't have a light of its own, FYI. Right? So
Fun.
I'm still really upset about the whole process. So I
Yep.
should probably let some of that go, I guess. But oh my
All good,
goodness.
sister. All good. Wow. That's really powerful. I'm really feeling connected to that.
Mm,
Wow. Thank you for
you're
sharing that. That's
welcome.
beautiful.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting
Absolutely.
me share.
You know, the reason I asked is because of the light that you carry.
Mm,
And part of my mission that I've shared with the audience many times is really helping raise that frequency and
mm,
helping people to overcome their inner traumas.
mhm,
Because really, that's the physical grid work that we're doing. Because every time a person is able to overcome a trauma, overcome some PTSD, disconnect that emotional negative response or reaction, and just responding very level with that 0 point, not
right.
anything negative toward it, really not anything, empty or positive or whatever, just kind of that observance of, okay, it may or may not have happened, but it's something I experienced, and that's okay.
And that's
And
okay.
just really coming to that center.
Yeah. And that's okay. I think that's the key part, is understanding that that's okay. Right. And one of the things is, saying stuff to yourself like, um, even though I didn't, fill in the blank, or even though I did X, Y, and
Oh, I
Z,
like that.
I love myself anyway. Right.
Yes. Yes.
Really, really understanding, like, let's say you really hurt someone's feelings, right? Which is really their own responsibility to, we should never give away that power. We should never be in a situation where somebody is hurting our feelings. However, we're human too, right? And we're having this experience. So at first it's like, ooh, ouch, that really stings. And then it's like, okay, you know what? I don't have to let that. I actually get to choose how I feel about that. And remembering that even though you felt this other way, that's okay. You're still going to love yourself. And now you're going to let that go, and you're going to replace it with how you choose to feel, right?
Very true.
Create your own reality.
Absolutely. And I think there's even the other side of it, the flip side of the coin. Sometimes somebody might not realize, like, that they've offended someone or miscommunicated, or
Right.
didn't listen properly. And the communication is so important. If you feel that someone has misinterpreted you or vice versa, it's always best to give the benefit of the doubt and
Yeah.
allow that person to know, this is how I feel when your behavior is this way or your communication or lack thereof is this way, because
Hmm.
sometimes we don't know. Maybe we've
Yeah.
been an offense. And I think that shows that Christ love, or that Christos love and acceptance and forgiveness and honor to that other person.
Mm.
And we're honoring ourselves with being willing to be
Yeah.
open and vulnerable.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Um, Adding to that, um, always ask more questions.
Yes.
Oh, this is what I heard you did I understand that correctly? And then when somebody is still being triggered, right? Because as a light bearer, we are designed to shine that light on people's shadow, which means they're going to be triggered probably almost
Oh,
all the time by everything you say, right? And you're
amen.
you're you're probably not going to go anywhere and not piss somebody off, and you're not going to make friends with people. That's just the bottom line. Light bearers, light warriors don't have a lot of friends growing up, and they don't carry a lot in their life, and I think now is a really unique time that so many of us have found each other, and
Yeah.
we're creating, I hate to say tribe, but we're literally creating like tribes. We're meeting our soul
That's
families, and just so many good words have been taken over by the cabal, right? So it's so frustrating sometimes to like, oh, that's a really good word, but it has this negative thing to it, so I try to make up new words. I don't know, I don't just make up words that don't exist, but um
it works,
which I
right?
haven't done here, but yeah. But asking questions, ask questions and sit in 0 point when they're responding. And so that's just observing, that's being a compassionate witness and honoring where they are in that moment. And when we are using the skills that we have as compassionate witnesses, we are then working from the space of love, and it's just pure love. And that's all you'll feel. You won't even feel that negative coming back and spearing your heart, or injuring your soul, or oh, that hurt my feelings. You won't feel it because you don't allow it to come in, right? So
Exactly. And a lot of
um,
times when we feel those triggers, turning it around and back to us, because an old saying I heard when I was a kid, when you point at somebody, you always have three other fingers pointing back to you. So look into
oh,
that mirror, so to speak, and think, what is it that is triggering me about that person that I do, that I
oh, I
might
like
be
that.
short on? And so that's one thing that, because I I struggle. I have
Yeah.
since I was a kid, but I've always had the type of mentality of, okay, I screw up, but don't we all?
Hmm.
And what can I do to work out with the person? And sometimes it's hard, like I might wait too long, or the way that I express that and it hurts the other person. And, I feel bad. I feel like there's something that maybe I could have done better. And it's a good reminder to ourselves, don't beat ourselves up, because we all do
Hmm.
it. And
Yeah.
that self-love, that self-forgiveness and acceptance, and just explore, okay, so I'm triggered, but am I triggering that person, or am I doing that
Hmm.
to other people by
Yeah.
a similar type of behavior
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah. I love that because that's growth, right? It's one of the first steps of healing is being able to look at the self and go, okay, wait, hold on. Understanding most often, and I'll explain most in a minute, but most often people are mirroring who, either what we need to work on, right? Or who we are. right?
Right.
And so whatever we see in ourselves, we're going to see in the other person.
Yes.
And so and so I say most things are mirrors, but I'm going to exclude the narcissistic community because, or somebody who's maybe a Twilight master, right? So, understanding that there are people there to really drain your energy and twist things up, and um, you know, um, sometimes that discernment is really challenging, and because of the type of behavior that it is, it still will make us go, wait, hold it. Like, this just has recently happened to me. I thought, oh my gosh, what is this person showing me? Because I'm feeling really frustrated. I'm feeling
Yeah.
like I can't do anything right. I'm feeling like um, I'm missing something. I'm not hearing correctly. And, uh, that it can be something that can happen with somebody who is either intentionally doing it or unintentionally doing it, meaning they don't have things cleared out of their body. But
Right.
regardless, it still mean I'm a conscious being, and I'm aware, I'm being self-aware, but also don't allow that person's projections. This is why shielding is so important, right? Don't allow their projections to come in and do that. It's okay to scan and go, hold on. And a perfect example is like massage. When I first started seeing, feeling people, right? And I would feel something or see something, I used to have to take my hands off and go, okay, hold on, is that me? And I would like focus for a second and go,
Right.
okay, that's me, right? And then put my hands, or go, okay, no, that's not me at all, right? Because if it's you, it's going to come back with you, right? And if it's not, then the second I would remove my hands, it would be gone, right? So,
That's a way to look at it. I like that.
yeah. So, is it me or the other person? So it's
Right.
yeah,
Always
an
a good
extra
question
tool.
to ask. Yes, yes.
Hmm.
And sometimes it might be vague. I know there's been times uh that I or other people that I've talked with, maybe sometimes you're having a hard time finding, is that really me? Or so if you're having a trouble figuring that out, sometimes we have to dig a little bit deeper and think,
Yeah.
okay, maybe is there an attachment, or look inside, or if we
Yep.
can't find that, and maybe we're struggling with releasing or letting go of those negative energies that we're not quite sure,
Hmm.
talk through it. Have I had something happen that would cause this feeling in my life
Right.
right about now? Or is there someone else projecting maybe that energy, that's something that they've had happen? And still, if we're struggling, always a great thing to do is to go to somebody like Chastity, myself, any
Hmm.
other light worker that can actually see those hooks, those attachments, those
Yeah.
entities, holograms, whatever they may be, to
Hmm.
remove those things. Because sometimes that might be the case. Something's been put on you.
Yeah. Or yeah, put on you by somebody else, human
Mhm.
and non-human, or even by yourself, right? Because we create our own tulpas in our life. But possession is normal. Like, people think that it's, some sci-fi thing, or you watch like a movie, and that's just crazy talk. But possession is 100% normal, and there is partial possessions. I work specifically with demons. I wouldn't call myself a demonologist, like I'm not studied in it, but uh, but I'm like, bring it, bitches, because I don't
Yep.
got time for this, right?
Right on,
So
girlfriend.
I just I just am like, this is not fair. This is not acceptable. And I know there are some actually really scary things, and my guardians do protect me. And I know better when I need to stand down, right? And not do something. But possession's real. And so there is voice to school technology. And so,
Yes,
there's it's and that's not sci-fi. That's not a technology that is foreign to us. That's real stuff. And
absolutely real.
and they're entities, right? They're entities that attach, and they're really ugly and gross. And they attach into where they sound just like you. They'll use your voice. they mimic, they know everything about you. And there, a lot of the times when you're having negative thoughts, and this happens a lot with suicides, you
Yeah.
really think it's yourself. You really think it's you having those thoughts. And so, um, and that can go right into schizophrenia too. Like, that that's those are possessions. Those are possessions. Or you can get into SSP programming and stuff like that and understand how the soul keeps getting split and split and split and split, right? And those are personalities created. So I mean, those are all whole nother topics. But understanding that, gosh, and there are these guys, they jump in and out. I've watched them jump in and out because they'll try to, um, the type of work you and I do, and many other people that you bring on your show do, like, they want to get at you, right? They're going to come through your kids, they're going to come through your animals, they do whatever, right? And
They want to
and I
sabotage your closest friendships and relationships. They really do. And it's
Yep,
frustrating.
it is. It's very frustrating. But I think that I've just had enough, and I'm like, that's fine, whatever. You want to do that? Okay.
Bring it on.
I'm like, I don't got, ain't nobody got time for this.
Exactly. Ah, Satan
I
be
mean,
gone.
it's like, sometimes it's rather comical. I'm like, seriously, that's what you're bringing, right? But good
Oh,
night.
goodness. Goodness. You've been such a delight to talk to. We're coming close to the end of the hour. And so, what I would like to do for the audience, for yourself, is be able to connect those that would like to connect with you. And so, what would be maybe an email or a website that you would want to send people to so that they can connect with you?
Oh, thank you. I have, what is my website? It's theartofmeta.com. So art of meta is METTA.com.
So,
So that's my website, and I'm in the process of, I'm going to be changing and updating some things and stuff like that. So, but I have a really fun show starting tomorrow on YouTube. So if I can figure out how to get Zoom and YouTube to connect, which is what I was trying to do earlier today, I,
uh,
I
when
swear
you figure it out, let me know because I'm
I
still
will.
going.
Well, the links just keep saying, like, I'm literally just creating them, and then I put it in the thing, and then it says expired link, and I'm like, how is it possible? I just did it. So
uh,
I'm just hoping that that's going to happen. But so my YouTube channel is it's just Chastity and you'll see my picture. But the gentleman, Colin Joe, that I have, he is a firecracker and so full. He had his awakening at 53, and he
wow.
has full, full memories intact from this awakening of being on other planets and like everything. It's crazy. So I'm so excited to talk to him.
Ready
Yeah.
to see. Yeah. Oh, cool experience. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah. You deserve this. Just the things that I've learned about you, experienced with you. I'm excited about your amazing book and your experiences, your website. Oh, God, girl, you're just rocking this goddess energy. I love it.
Oh, thank
Absolutely
you,
love
Amária. I'm so excited that we connected. I just feel at home
it.
and comfortable with you. So thank you so much.
It's been an honor. And for those that are listening to C4OC Radio Network as well as Revelation Radio 2 networks, just reach out to Captain Stevo with Captain's Chair or Denny Ray. And any questions that you guys have, feel free to shoot them on over. You can also put those below. We would love to hear from you. Any suggestions, comments that you would like to hear. And it's been an honor. Thank you so much again, Chastity,
Thank
for being
you.
on the show. been just absolutely delightful and very heartfelt. Beautiful.
Thank you. I'm sending so much love and blessings.
Thank you so much. This is Amária Sweet. Thank you so much with HeartMind Expressions and my beautiful friend Chastity. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.